I am so excited to share this class with you. When I was developing, I just thought to myself, there are so many people that I know that help people's lymphatic systems as a profession that are going to be so excited about this advice. And it is going to put so many things together that they thought may have not been together. It's going to like tie up so many loose ends and hopefully inspire them to go and research in different directions to deepen their own practice, both in their own bodies and in their offices, in their careers. So let's get into it. But first of all, who am I? I'm a lymphedema therapist. I'm board certified in therapeutic massage and bodywork, as well as a health coach and a yoga teacher. I'm also the author of the books Stress Reduction for Lymphedema and Mindful Strategies for Adults with Adverse Childhood Experiences. So what are we going to explore in class today? We're going to learn about, very importantly, the contraindications to practicing breath work. Because it is powerful, that means it's not for everybody. So let's make sure we know who should be practicing breath work and who should not. We'll experience two breath works, Cyclic, Sighing, and Nadi Shodhana. And we'll discuss the concept of Prana. So let's start with a mindful moment. I'll invite everyone to get into a position that's respectful yet comfortable. And just take a few nourishing breaths. And see what thoughts come to mind for you. You're in this class number 2. What thoughts did you have about the first class that inspired you to press play on this class? What about the topics I kind of briefly went over today that we're going to talk about are exciting to you? What do you already know about these topics? What are you excited about learning today? And what is your personal breathwork practice? And are you excited about potentially adding some things to that practice, starting up a personal breathwork practice, sharing these breathwork techniques that we're going to learn in this 10 class series with others in your family, with people that you work with? And as always, we start with a minute of breath work. So we'll do 5-5 breathing. So we'll inhale for the count of 5, exhale for the count of 5. I'll keep the time. We'll do it for about a minute. And we'll start by exhaling and then inhale and exhale. 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 Last inhale and last exhale. Okay, so we'll let that breathwork practice go and we'll move into a range of motion practice. So I'll invite you to inhale as you look up and exhale as you look down. Inhale and look up. Exhale and look down. Last inhale looking up. And last exhale looking down. Return your head to a neutral position and then look to the left and inhale and to the right and exhale. Inhale to the left, exhale to the right. Last inhale to the left and last exhale to the right. Return the head to a neutral position, and then the left ear goes to the left shoulder as we inhale. Exhale, the right ear to the right shoulder. Inhale to the left. Exhale to the right. Last inhale, ear to shoulder on the left. And last exhale on the right. And then return your head to a neutral position. Take your hands and put them on your shoulders. Shoulder rolls up and back. Nice big movement. See how your range of motion is today. Then one more. And then we will change our direction. Rolling our shoulders in the opposite direction. And one last roll, and then you can return your hands to your legs. And let's take a moment to look at our breath. And this is a little bit of introspection here, and just we'll take a moment and ask ourselves these questions. We'll ask again later on in the lessons as we get through the 10 sessions. But for right now, can you hear yourself breathe? When you breathe, is it silent or is there a sound? As you're going through your day, do you mostly breathe through your mouth or do you breathe through your nose? Do you find your nose gets stuffed up a lot? Are you always carrying a Kleenex with you? Or is your nose mostly clear? Do you find that you sigh or yawn regularly, even when you're not tired or annoyed? And do you snore? And these are questions that we should ask ourselves and see what the answer is, and then also ask the ones that are closest to us, our loved ones, people that live with us and see us every day. Definitely, I didn't think I snored, but my husband definitely told me that I snored before I used mouth tape on my mouth to start nose breathing more. And I find when I breathe through my mouth, my nose does get stuffed up. And I would always have to blow my nose when I woke up. And that stopped when I started wearing the mouth tape. And these are all signs of potential over-breathing or potentially not nose breathing as much. And there's such a benefit to breathing through your nose. That's what your nose is put there for, to help you breathe. But these are things that we should be aware of, especially when we're going through this 10-session pranayama breathwork journey. How is breathing, and especially if you get more into nose breathing, how does that benefit you? Is that actually changing the way that your respiratory system is working? And we'll look at this wonderful picture of diaphragmatic breathing. And when we say diaphragmatic breathing, this is what we mean: using the muscle that is called the diaphragm in order to breathe instead of using mostly accessory muscles, and in a specific way. I'm a lymphedema therapist, and if my other colleagues are here and they're lymphedema therapists, I never understood how many people don't breathe correctly until I did lymphedema therapy, until I did manual lymphatic drainage and the deep abdominal sequence on people. And I would ask them to take deep breaths, and I would find that they poke the belly out as they exhale and then suck it in as they inhale. And that is not proper diaphragmatic breathing. As you can see from this chart, the diaphragm should move downwards as we inhale, and it should relax and move upwards as we exhale. And then you'll see at the bottom of this chart are the accessory muscles, and the accessory muscles can help, but it's not ideal if we're finding a lot of breathing coming from here instead of from the diaphragm, using those smaller accessory muscles that are meant to help as an accessory but not do the entire job tends to wear people out. There can be a difference in their feelings of anxiety if they're not breathing with the diaphragm. So let's talk about contraindications for do-it-yourself breath work. So this, I'm talking to you about this because I am not with you. I can't see you. I can't see your reactions. You can't tell me in the moment what your reaction is to breath work. So I want you to be more conservative with the breath work than you would potentially be if you were in a classroom with a teacher that had expertise in breath work. You're doing this alone in a video, and no one can help you. So I want you to take these contraindications seriously. That if you have anxiety, if you have blood pressure control, cardiovascular issues, this is not the time to try to do a lot of breath work without a physician consultation. So I want you to talk to your physician and make sure that doing breath work is the right thing for you to do at this time. And then even if you are doing breath work and you start to feel anxiety, you start to feel shortness of breath, you start to feel any type of symptom that is not your body telling you that this is a nourishing and wholesome thing to help it, that I want you to stop that breath work, even if your physician says breath work is okay, and still listen to the presentation, still get all the research and learn the research, but come back to the breath work at a time when it's comfortable for you to do the breath work itself. So the main symptoms that I'm really concerned about are if you start feeling anxiety during breath work, if you start having breathing problems during breath work, if you have pre-existing cardiovascular or blood pressure issues. Doing a breath work program without physician approval is not advised. And then, like I said, even if the physician says, great, this is going to be great, even if every other time you did breath work, it worked fine. If this time when you're doing breath work, you start feeling anxiety, lightheadedness, dizziness, a rapid heartbeat, shortness of breath, those are your body trying to tell you a signal that it's time to stop the breath work. And also, if you do breath work and you have some experiences afterwards, those experiences can be the body showing you that you're doing too much too soon or the wrong type of breath work for you. So if you do breath work and afterwards you put down this video or you take the class, and as soon as you walk out of the class, you feel like ravenously hungry and you want to eat everything. You think this giant buffet is the most delicious thing you've ever seen, and you can't wait to eat that big, giant, heavy meal. You're not doing the breath work correctly. That's not how you should feel after you do breath work. If you get out of a breath work session and you feel so keyed up that you have some hot gossip that you just want to go ahead and tell everybody this crazy secret that you heard, you want to do gossip, you want to like look on the internet and get triggered, that means the breath work was too much, too soon, too much for whatever reason that day, because coming out of breath work should not you should not be in the mood where you want to share gossip with others. That is not what breath work should do in the body, put you into that sympathetic nervous system state. And again, with the sympathetic nervous system, if you leave your breathwork class and immediately you're honking at people as you're driving home, you're trying to cut people off, you're starting arguments with people, you were doing too much, too soon, too fast, too whatever with the breathwork session, because this is not the way that you should leave a breathwork session that was properly done. You shouldn't want to eat a giant meal. You shouldn't want to gossip or start arguments with other people. That's not what happens to the body when we're doing breath work correctly. You should feel instead like this wonderful lady, just more towards a feeling of gratitude. You don't necessarily have to have any feeling at all, but I don't want you to have the negative feelings that we were talking about before. And are you ready for seated breath work? So there's no difference but an ego difference in doing the breath work seated or lying down. And in fact, there is research that shows that doing this breath work lying down may actually be beneficial for you. So these two researchers, I'll share what they found. They found that 30 minutes of diaphragmatic breathing in a supine position, lying down, effectively induced thoracic duct lymphatic drainage. And this second researcher says abdominal respiration during 30-minute rest in the supine position is effective at inducing lymph drainage and the associated induction of hemodilution and lowering of blood ADH concentration and increased micturition desire in some cases. Micturition means you got to go to the bathroom and pee. And that's what we want. We want the lymphatic fluid to move, and then it moves through the body, into the kidneys, into the bladder, and then you pee it out. So there is a benefit to doing the breath work lying down. So let's start with some breath work. And the first one we're going to do today is called cyclic sighing. So cyclic sighing consists of taking a two-part deep inhale and then a long exhale. And research has shown that practicing this breathing technique can bring an increase in positive effect and psychological relief. Before we do the cyclic sighing, I want to bring up the other things about breath work. If we're going to do a pranayama type breath work, it's recommended that you have an active yoga practice before you go on to a pranayama practice. It's recommended that you pee and poo and don't have a full bladder or a need to go to the restroom. And it's also recommended that you don't have a full stomach, so not eating for a few hours, or definitely not eating a heavy meal right before you do your breath work. And that is just because it's uncomfortable to do a lot of breathing on a full stomach. And like we saw in the last slide, doing the breath work can actually help with lymphatic drainage, which will mean that your full bladder is going to be even fuller at the end, and that's uncomfortable as well. And then if it's appropriate for the breathing to do it with your nose, we always recommend breathing through your nose if that's something that's available for you. Okay, so let's talk about cyclic sighing as I get my clock ready so we can practice it. So it's a two-part deep inhale and then a long exhale. So it looks like this. So I've inhaled that I feel most of my lungs are full, and then the little inhale at the end, like just a little extra sniff, so now they're really full. And then a nice slow exhale. And research has shown that practicing this breathing technique can bring an increase in positive affect and psychological relief. And we see this because we sigh naturally. Transient disruptions, that is a single or few deep breaths or sighs, can also relieve everyday anxiety. I remember when I was in my massage school, when we all came in, that's how they kind of got us ready to transition from fighting traffic to get there by 8:15, and then actually being present for the lesson. We'd be directed to inhale and then exhale with a loud sigh. And we just do that 3 times, and then we would feel the difference in our body of just doing that sigh. So let's try it. We'll be doing cyclic sighing for 5 minutes, and this will be, I'll keep the time, so I'll let you know when 5 minutes are up. But as far as how long each individual breath is, that's going to be up to you and your pulmonary system. So I'll invite you to begin in a relaxed yet alert position. Your eyes can be open or closed. And then you exhale fully, breathe in through your nose. And then when your lungs feel full, take another shorter inhale through the nose to fully inflate and then exhale very slowly. So I'll keep the time and we'll be doing this for 5 minutes. So go ahead and exhale fully and we'll start. So every inhale is that full inhale and then a little extra inhale and then a long, deep exhale. And we're doing this as many times as is comfortable for you. We're about halfway through. We have 1 minute left. Okay, and that was 5 minutes of the cyclic sighing. So I'll invite you to take the next few moments and feel inside of your body how you feel after 5 minutes of that breathwork practice. Okay. And now we'll learn Nadi Shodhana. So for me, the most difficult part of this position is getting the hand gesture right and then learning kind of the 4-step process. And once you kind of get this hand gesture and kind of understand the exhale and then inhale the same nostril, exhale, inhale the opposite nostril, then you will understand Nadi Shodhana. So let me let my dog out really quick. And we will start. Okay. So let's learn about Nadi Shodhana first. The Institute of Applied Dermatology's yoga protocol for treatment of breast cancer-related lymphedema includes alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana, and nadis refer to energy channels in the Ayurvedic system of medicine, and the word Shodhana means purification. So to Ayurveda and yoga yogis, people who understand yoga philosophy, this breathwork practice is purifying the nadis. So a nadi is a structure through which something flows inside of it. It's a medium for the flow of pranic energy or vital power. Among the nadis transporting the vital power, you may hear about the Ida and the Pingala and the Sushumna as 3 very important nadis in the study of yoga, this Eastern philosophy. So let's practice. So I'll invite you to sit in a comfortable yet alert position with a straight spine. You can close your eyes if that feels comfortable. This screen will be open for the whole 3 minutes of the practice. So if you get lost, you can just read the prompts and kind of get back in with us. And we'll start by taking a few diaphragmatic breaths, and with your right hand, we're taking the index and the middle finger and holding it at the base of the thumb, and then the fingers that are going to help us with the nostrils are going to be the thumb and the ring finger. So we'll place the hand underneath our nose in a position where our thumb can close off that right nostril and our ring finger can close off that left nostril if we want. So go ahead and take a few diaphragmatic breaths to start the practice. Inhale and exhaling through the nose. And then close the right nostril with the thumb and exhale through the left nostril. Inhale through our left nostril. Close the left nostril with the ring finger. Exhale through the right nostril. Inhale through the right nostril. Close the right nostril with the thumb. Exhale through the left nostril. Inhale through the left nostril. Close the left nostril with the ring finger. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. And then repeat this cycle. I will keep the time, and once we've kind of got the hang of it now, I will start us on 3 minutes. So closing the right nostril with the thumb and exhaling through the left. Inhale through the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Exhale through the left. And keep this up. I'll tell us when 3 minutes is done. We're halfway through. Okay, we're at 3 minutes. So go to the next exhale in the left nostril. And then we can end the practice. So I'll invite you to take the next few moments to feel what has changed in the body just as a result of this short 3-4 minute breathwork practice. Feeling inside the body. Has the state of the mind changed? Is there a tension or relaxation in the body? Just feel what's ever present right now for us. And we can wiggle our fingers and toes, blink open our eyes if they're closed. And it's important for me to tell you that I am just scraping the bare surface of alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana. This is a practice that is thousands of years old. And there are many different ways and many disagreements between this person and that person about whether it's called alternate nostril breathing, when it is called Nadi Shodhana, if you should do other things before Nadi Shodhana. There's practices that some should say that you should do before you do this, certain times a day, certain preparatory practices to get into an authentic practice of Nadi Shodhana. Some will say you have to hold the breath during the exhale and during the inhale. We kind of did it at a 3 to 4 second duration for the inhales and the exhales. Some will have a very specific number of seconds for the inhales and for the exhales. People will tell you should start with a certain nostril, you should end with a certain nostril. There's a wide variety of different practices in this alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana, as of course there is, because it is a beloved practice in this culture for over thousands of years. So let's move on and look at what prana is. So what is prana? We don't have a specific word for specifically what prana is in Western medicine. We're not really putting our finger on it with Western medicine. But we can kind of think of it as what is not prana, and prana is not just breathing. Breath work and breathing are different as well. So breath work is a word that I use to describe breathing plus attention. We're breathing, but we're also paying attention to our breathing and doing specific things with our breathing. Breath work can also mean breath plus awareness. We are aware of the fact that we are breathing, and we're using this awareness to help our health and wellness. Breath work is also an intentional change to breathing. So we're looking at all these different pranayama practices and these different breathwork practices. And then because there's research out there on if you intentionally change your breathing, how there are positive or negative effects in the body with intentionally changing the breathing. And that all that to say that pranayama is more than just breath work. Prana is more than just breathing. Prana is the life force, the energy in the body. And pranayama is the age-old attempt to control and benefit that life force inside of us. So why should we practice breath work? And we'll talk about this in future classes as well. But these researchers have found that our body, our mind actually uses our breathing rhythm, how we're breathing, to signal process, to show and direct parts of the body how to act based on how the breath is coming in and out of the body. So these researchers say the breathing rhythm is actually hijacked by the brain for its own signal processing needs. So we know that the hormones are the brain trying to put chemicals in the body to direct the body to do certain things. And it also uses the breath rhythm as a kind of shortcut. So the body can see, different parts of the body see what the breathing rhythm is, and they change how they work according to how the breathing rhythm is. So when we know that, then the upshot, the researchers say, is that our own volitional changes in breathing rhythm might be utilized to alter the signal processing to one's own brain. So the brain is seeing how we're breathing, and when it sees that we're breathing in an anxious way, it's going to react as if the body is experiencing something dangerous. And if it sees the breathing is really relaxed, we find that our brain relaxes as well. Our body, the parasympathetic nervous system, is directed by our breathing to go ahead and go into that parasympathetic state. So this is very exciting. This is the foundation of why we should use breath work to help our bodies and to help our lymphatic system. So the researchers hypothesized that slow volitional breathing, as in regular meditation practice, when you meditate often, or even a single or a few deep breaths, like an acute practice, including non-volitional sighs, which we did today, or which you will do just naturally throughout the day. They modulate the temporal dynamics across interacting brain subnetworks to produce changes in our emotional or cognitive state. So when you go ahead and take that, you feel yourself taking that sigh, you'll feel yourself afterwards, your emotional and cognitive state will change. So what are the 4 parts of pranayama? And we'll look in more detail at these parts of pranayama in our subsequent classes. Pranayama practices 4 important aspects of breathing: inhalation, exhalation, and then internal breath retention. So we inhale and then we hold the breath, and then external breath retention. So after the exhale, we hold the breath. Those are the 4 different aspects of breathing that we're going to kind of look deeper into as we go into our future classes. And like I said before, we did the breathing. When and how do you practice pranayama? Pranayama is started once the yogi has a solid practice of yoga, and the empty stomach, empty bowel, empty bladder just makes it more comfortable to do the pranayama. And then if it's a type of pranayama that you can breathe through the nose, then focus on nose breathing. So what is prana? Prana is the life force. Prana is subtle energy in the body, and yoga, the practice of yoga, the practice of meditation, which is a part of yoga, and pranayama, which is a part of yoga, and asana, which is part of yoga, are all guided to help the person practicing it harness and direct the subtle energy in their body. And there is a belief in subtle energy across different cultures. It's not just in India among the yogis. So in Sanskrit, which is the language of yoga, it's called prana. But in Chinese medicine, it's called qi. In Japan, it's known as ki. And the universal energy prana is defined as the basic source of all life. And there's three major sources of prana or subtle energy according to yoga. The prana from sunlight constitutes solar prana. The prana which is absorbed through the soles of the feet is called ground prana. And then prana obtained from the air is called air prana, and it's absorbed through breathing. And it's also absorbed directly by energy centers called chakras. And if you're the people you're talking to, if you yourself are a yogi, you may already be familiar with the chakra system. So prana is typically divided into 5 classifications, which when related to the human body processes. So this list includes prana, which is usually circulation. Apana is elimination. Vyana is the circulation and movement of energy. Udana, which is vocalizing sounds. And samana is the digestion and assimilation. That we're not going to go really deeply into all the different types of prana since this is mainly a breathwork class. But it's important to know that these processes are sustained by bodily fluids called as pranavayu. So this is the different types of prana and just more background into the fact that prana is not just breathing. It's important for us to have at least a basic knowledge of what prana is according to yoga philosophy. And there should be no shame in our prana game. And this is something that they teach in yoga philosophy, that sometimes problems start when we try to stifle the natural flow of prana in our body. So you will see that the yogi, the person that's well versed in yoga and really follows it as a lifestyle, if there's a sneeze, they don't want you to try to stifle the sneeze and hold it back. They say, if there's some energy flowing through your body, let it flow. If you have a cough, don't try to like stifle your cough. If you have a sneeze, don't try to stifle that energy. If you have to pee or poop, don't sit there with your legs crossed holding it. Go ahead and take care of your natural urges. If you get the wiggles, like just get the wiggles out. It's this prana, the energy moving in our body, and it's from stifling the energy and kind of holding it back that different issues may come to light. Different problems with the body may be because we're not letting our natural flow of prana actually flow. So how does yoga use prana? So the practice of yoga is very much concerned with controlling the mind, and it uses prana in terms of breath as one of the means of doing so, in addition to controlling the physical body. So yoga wants to control the mind. That's the beginning of Yoga Sutras. Is yoga is the solution to the fluctuations of the mind. We want to have a steady mind, and we can control the mind using the breath, using the prana, in addition to controlling our physical body with yoga practices. And very interestingly is the concept of prana only found in India. So the word prana is in one particular language, but prana comes as a concept. It's across many Eastern cultures. And let's take a look. So in China, qi is regarded as the most essential fuel that is vital for the operation of the human body. The qi can be acquired from different sources. It is partially generated from the air we breathe and acquired partially from food or drinks. And a significant part of qi is actually inherited from the parents and will be consumed in the passage of life. So this is the traditional wisdom from China about qi. And Japanese call it ki or ki. Japanese presents the view that the source of well-being results from the universal energy ki that runs in and around the human body and around the individual, which animates the physical organs and tissues. Hence, ki is responsible for making the person healthy and energetic. The illness results in an interruption in the stream of ki in the physical organs. So this is kind of similar to what I was trying to explain about prana, that it's the interruption of the stream of prana that may result in illness. And we may know this as a familiar word, Reiki. So in Reiki, the therapist utilizes hands-on treatment or uses a no-touch method to promote healing. Here, the therapist is not taking the entire role of healing, but they act as a medium to allow the patient to get used to the vital energy, and thereby the healing occurs. All right, so we covered so much in this short class. We tried cyclic sighing, we tried alternate nostril breathing, and we learned more about the different types of prana. We learned more about how the concept that the word prana is illustrating is a concept that's found around Eastern cultures in the East. So I'll invite us to end this class with a mindful moment. So I'll invite you to get in a position that's respectful yet comfortable. You can keep your eyes open or closed. And then just take a minute to think about all that we kind of learned today and how that connects with, if you have a career as a healer, what you have found in your practice as a healer, what you have found in your personal body through your yoga practice. And thinking about what you felt after those 2 short breathwork practices of cyclic sighing and alternate nostril breathing. And any questions you might have, what you're interested to learn about these subjects and what else you're interested to learn about as far as breath work as a practice, both for yourself and for your clients. And please share your questions with us in the YouTube comments. Please share your experiences, what you felt from these breathwork practices. And if you have any other information you want to share with everybody about prana, about the way you work with prana, about your experience with any of the breathwork practices. And as we always will finish with the 5-5 breathing. So we'll inhale for the count of 5, exhale for the count of 5. I'll keep the time. We'll do it for 1 minute. And we'll start with an exhale. And then inhale. And exhale. 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 Last inhale. And last exhale. We'll let that breathing practice go. And I'll close by reminding you, you can find the full free 10-session breathwork and lymphatic wellness class at my YouTube channel. They're always going to be there. They're always going to be free. So if you ever want to re-watch this, you can, to practice the breathwork again, to look at any of the slides. And I'm excited to see what you like of the next 8 classes after this one, and definitely let me know in the Facebook comments your experience. And here are the resources for today's class and the second page. And thank you so much and have a great day.